My name is Jacob Hudson. I'm on the couch, and this is It All Repeats.
You would sit quietly across from me, angered by the lack of my apparent sympathy to the ones that you chose to give your heart, knowing in the end that you lose me as a friend. As we drove through those evergreens, taking pictures with filters we will never use, I felt the pain of empathy as you tried to find the reasons you would stay with me. Now you wait, hoping he will notice you, blending into acts that will never comfort you. So post your pain for all to see and sympathize, and fill your selfish mind with those compliments online. As I drove through those evergreens, burning pictures from winters that I hated you, I heard all the songs I could have sang if I ever loved you that way. Did I ever love you that way? Now you condescendingly talk to me, hiding from the fact that I follow through your dreams, and for you it all repeats, and for you it all repeats.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Cool, thank you guys.
All right, so Jacob, you just had a new album come out on the 24th, I think. What was it like making it?
It's a strange process. Every record's different to make. This one we focused a lot on like the outcome of how it'll be received by people. So we spent a lot of time redoing instrumental spots and adding small textures to try to make sure it like reflected the lyricism appropriately. So it was really fun to like go back and see how we make these musical instruments kind of reflect the same meanings as the lyrics. It was really fun to do. So overall it was a a challenging but inspiring experience to do it.
Cool. What was it like writing it, like lyrically, musically?
Very slow. I'm a very slow songwriter. I'm not diligent in creativity at all. So I'll go I'll have an inspiration for a song and write half of it in a night, and then it'll take me 6 months to write the other half of the song. So it's not a very quick process, but often like it starts with some very specific emotional event to me. It's very kind of like a selfish starting place, and then I try to from there make it as approachable as possible. So I'll often redo certain parts of lyrics to be more a little more generalized, and not to like make it just sellable, but just because I want people to like be able to relate to it. Because I guess underneath all of my personal experiences are general human emotions that we all experience. So I wanted to, tap into everybody's emotional experience, not just my own. Yeah.
So what are some of the main like personal experiences on there? Just like a theme, like you don't have to go in detail.
I say the theme is they're also individualistic in like the experiences I have with them, but I'd say overall it's about the relationships that we have in our human culture, and that it's very cyclical. I think it's all the same emotions we've experienced. Like the second song on the record, "Scenery," is all the changes. It was inspired because I was talking to my grandfather about his great 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 grandfather's divorce in 1907, I think it was, and I got to read this very detailed transcript of like their divorce filing and how like there was nothing wrong, there was no infidelity, it was just they didn't love each other anymore. And so they had kids and they'd been married for 10 years and all this kind of crazy stuff. And so I was like, wow, like I feel like we often say divorce is, this newer thing that marriage is going downhill or whatever, and it's getting higher and higher. But I think I realized that people are just as messed up and confused as they've always been. And so this whole record just talks about how, we all have those same faults as humans. We all have these selfish desires, and then sometimes we also just, like love changes, and so that's okay, and that's not a new thing. That's just how humans are built, and so we have to do our best to keep away from it.
Cool. So do you have like a favorite track on there, one that's like the most close to you? Or?
I don't know. It's like people always ask me that. In fact, I was doing an interview with somebody a couple weeks ago. We were talking about if I had to pick one song to play off the album forever, what would it be? And I told him there's actually really two answers, because there's two places that I have my music heard, which is in front of people and then streamed or listened to by themselves. And so for me, like if somebody was to hear a song on the record by itself, I would want it to be "I'll Never Regret." It's the fourth track on the new record, and it was written on New Year's Eve in one night, unlike my normal writing process. And then it was recorded in one take with one microphone. Like the first try we did it, and it's not the best sounding recording, but it was a very like emotionally raw song for me to write. It was very different, so I think a lot of people that have heard it have told me it kind of took them back, because it wasn't my normal writing process and my normal lyricism and imagery. But it's just a very aggressive song up front. It's very like gritty and coarse, but then it ends with like this comfort in the unknowing. And so I think I'd like to leave people with that at the very least. If that's the only song they hear off of it, that would be great. But when I'm playing in front of people, the song that I like to play is "It All Repeats," which is the title track. And that one, when I'm playing it with people in the room, it's a very gentle song on the record, but it also has probably the harshest lyricism that I've chosen, the harshest imagery, and just the most aggressive writing style. So when I play it live, I try to imitate more of that, because the recording side of it is much more, it stays very gentle and melodramatic through almost the entire song. So when I'm playing it live, I like to emphasize those moments that are a little bit grittier, and they kind of can catch people sometimes. So I'd say like I'd have to split that into two, basically. It all repeats when I'm playing in front of people, and I'll never regret when they're by their lonesome.
So I know you've been like playing around a lot. I see your name posted up in Riverside everywhere. What have you been up to? Who have you been playing with?
Well, I got to play with one of my favorite bands in Jacksonville for the CD release show I did in 1904, Boyson. They're a local band. So I'm actually recording their record, so I get to hang out with them a lot, and it's a lot of fun. And in fact, most of the band plays as my backup band when I play full band, so it's a really cool experience. And then tonight I'm actually playing at Bull Bean, which is fun because I love Bull Bean, so that'll be fun. And then I'm playing at the end of this month with a guy named Michael Cronin. And then I'd say also another person in Jacksonville I love to play with is my friend Corey Kilgannon. We've been friends for a long time, and so I got to show him the record before it came out and get his response on it. So just in the past few weeks, it's been just receiving a bunch of really nice Facebook messages about the record, and then people tell me they're going to come out to whatever show, and then getting there 5 minutes late, which is perfectly fine with me. So yeah.
Well, cool. So do you like normally playing like by yourself, or do you enjoy like playing in a group more?
They both have their ups and downs. There's certain aspects that the songs have which only get shown in either area. So for instance, I really enjoy playing the set by myself in terms of these like smaller atmospheres, like when I'll be playing a bowl bean, I'll be playing with one other person, so it'll be much more intimate, and I can kind of let the lyricism shine through a little bit more. But at that same time, a lot of those textures that we worked so hard on the record to create, those like instrumental moments that reflect all lyricism and give moments of contemplation to the listener, those are all missing when I'm playing by myself. And so when I do have a band and they have the ability to perform those pieces tastefully and put in the right sort of emphasis and textures and colors, it makes those songs that much more intense emotionally for me to play. So I'd say, again, like it depends on what I'm trying to go for. If I want to just create an atmosphere and a feel, then I love playing with a band. But if I want to get the message across, then I normally like to play by myself.
So do you have any like future goals for yourself, things that you want to like accomplish this year?
The petty thing is to get verified on Spotify. That's the intro trick you have to do. Because I was talking to a friend of mine that does some work with Spotify, and he told me they're all about helping out smaller artists. Like that is their goal ultimately, but they have to have them get verified first as like a check. So he told me, as soon as you get verified, I'll help you out. So I've been shamelessly plugging myself to get verified on Spotify and getting all those followers up to 250, hopefully. But also just playing outside of Jacksonville more. I did a bad habit last year of not playing any shows, really. I mean, I was recording the record, but I just didn't. I might have played 4 or 5 times total last year, like outside of Jacksonville. And it definitely wasn't a smart move for me. I didn't build a lot of connections, which is what playing music's all about. So I'm hoping this year to get to play a lot more newer cities that I haven't been to in a while, and meet some people that I haven't seen in a long time, as well as some new faces. So.
What's like your dream city to play in?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've already played in some cool cities, so like I'm trying to think. See, I haven't played in Seattle yet, so if I could play in Seattle, that'd be cool. And also New York. I haven't played in New York City yet. Because I guess like I played in Chicago like 2 or 3 years ago now, but I mean it's been so long, and it was like a house show. So if I could play in a venue, it'd probably be Chicago, I guess.
Cool. What's like the coolest place or like city you've played in up till now?
Let's see. They've all had really cool experiences. I definitely liked when I was in Los Angeles playing. It was a really weird show at this old like abandoned hospital that got turned into some like missions center. So it was really strange. But we got to we flew out there and we played the show one day and then stayed for 2 more days, and just hanging out in the city after you play a show is like really fun because it's kind of like a free vacation almost. So like that's the cool part about being like a songwriter is that you don't get paid a lot of money at all, but you get to go places like you get paid a lot of money. So
Nice. So what kind of bands are you into? Who do you listen to?
let's see, very soft, very quiet, sad stuff, I guess. I don't know. I mean, actually, I have a pretty broad musical taste because I do a lot of production work for other artists in Jacksonville. So you can't have a very specific palette of music if you're going to do that in here. But I love William Fitzsimmons. He's one of my bigger inspirations for songwriting styles. A big fan of City and Color, even though I didn't go see him when he was here in Jacksonville. I'm jealous. And then let's see. I mean, there's just a bunch of. Actually, I would say the Paper Kites has been a really big on repeat band for me recently. And then of course you have like Bon Iver and all the other cool indie artists and Sufjan Stevens, and I could probably keep going on if I start doing this. I'm going to keep going through more and more artists, but I think that kind of gives you a general perspective.
Yeah, sure. Very cool. So what are some of the other bands that you produce around here?
Let's see. I've done some work for my friend Corey, and then I've done Boyson. Obviously, I was talking about that. I did another singer-songwriter here in Jacksonville named Jordan Poole. I did his EP last year. I think we wrapped it up in August. And then, gosh, I know there's more. There's just always, and it's always like small things too. I've done some work for another songwriter named Jeremiah Daly. So just a bunch of people like that. I try to stay with stuff that's a little bit easier to take bites out of, because I realized last year when we started the Boyson Project that doing a full band production while also working on your own music is a lot more difficult than just doing some acoustic songwriter songs and adding some little extra pieces in there.
So you guys are pretty close knit, I guess. What do you think about the music scene in Jacksonville? Where do you think it's headed? It's good, could be better.
Yeah, I think it went through a really big dip at the beginning of like the 2010s. You know, I think like there were so many bands trying to play all these shows all the time, and nobody had any money to go to 6 shows a week that were $10 to see 2 of your friends' bands play. Like, it just didn't work out. So I think, unfortunately, it went through a time where it died out a lot. A lot of venues shut down, obviously. And so it's a lot harder to book shows, I think, in Jacksonville, because the promoters are a little more on edge, which they should be. I mean, like there's a lot of money at stake when you're putting on shows. But I think there's a lot of really good talent here that's now able to kind of shine through, and there's not so much hype about forming a band now. It's about like the quality of the music being played. So, and I think people are getting used to quality over quantity. I mean, shows are, you know, being a little more condensed now. We used to have shows that started at 6 and wouldn't get out till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think we're all just kind of past that now, which is good, because every other city I've been to, like most of the time, the shows are timely and they're just enough of a taste of the artist to get you to want more. So, I think Jacksonville is like going towards like a higher quality music scene, but with that, it'll take a little longer for it to get its feet again.
Well, I think that's just about all I have for you. If you want to say anything else, we're willing to hear it, but that's all I got.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, I guess, too. Follow that Spotify and all that jazz. So.
Cool. Thank you very much.
This is called Scenery is All That Changes.
What was it like when she left? Her hollow eyes hidden by the drifting candlelight, sweat in your eyes. She said she loved the children that you made, and then she wept, and then you wept. What was it like all alone? The home you made haunted by the whispers of her name, gold in your bones. The emptiness you felt inside your chest is just weakness. It's not new, the way she felt, the lack of you. You've always been confused. Scenery is all that changes. Scenery is all that changes. How did you tell all your friends the reason she drove away were not from your mistakes? Guilt in your mind. You wished you looked as if you missed her kiss, but you don't. And you know she won't. It's not new, the way she felt, the lack of you. You've always been confused. Scenery is all that changes. Scenery is all that changes. What's wrong with falling out of love? What's wrong with being not enough? How do you say you're feeling numb to the one you love? It's not new, the way she felt, the lack of you. You've always been confused. Scenery is all that changes. Scenery is all that changes. Why did you write all these songs? Hoping that they'd make her angry or make her feel anything.